Good evening. Welcome to Right Talk with Mike Lee. My guests this evening are repeat guests. They're kind enough to grace me with their presence again. Grace us with their presence again. This is my last show of the first decade of the 21st century.
Wow.
Happy
My
New
last
Year.
show of the year. And I'd like again to welcome Wesley and Martha Doss. They're Republican Party activists in Hayes County. And I'd like to speak with them this evening about things that are happening in Hayes County that concern you and me both. But first of all, I've got to get appropriately dressed here. I got to make America great again.
All right, can I show my shirt?
Yep.
Trump
Oh,
is
yeah, I guess I should
innocent.
show my shirt too.
Yeah, but he hasn't been
But
charged.
he hasn't been
charged
charged.
yet because the witch hasn't taken the articles to the Senate yet. And so that's what's happening on a large scale. On a smaller scale, there are some other things that are concerned to me that are of a local nature,
That's right.
particularly what's going on in Hayes. I guess Hayes and I would say Travis and surrounding county, but I'm in Hayes now but I started in Travis. But I'm concerned about what's happening in Hayes County because, on the one hand, it used to be a reliably, quote, red county.
Yeah.
But I think in the last election cycle, it was kind of flip blue. And I believe that one of the problems that I see in Hayes is as much as it is in somewhat in Travis and other counties is the party base used to be the majority. It used to be that white people were in sufficient enough numbers to alone be a majority. But we live in a more pluralistic society now. It's more mixed up. And one of the things that I believe is a problem for us conservatives is the Republican Party is perceived and has allowed itself to be identified as a party for white people, and the Democratic Party is a party for everybody else.
Right.
But that the Conservative Party, the Republican Party, is for white people. And when you go to these meetings, I mean, being honest about it, when you go to these meetings and whatnot, when you go to Christmas parties, when you go to precinct conventions and other things like state conventions and whatnot, it's predominantly a sea of white. And you have speckles of dark in there.
Yes, sir.
I've been a speckle in 3 of those conventions. I kind of know what it's about. But we've got to somehow begin to change the perception, if not the image of the party. Now, one of the things that's happening now is I believe that the present chair is James Dickey, whom I know well, and who's a brother. We essentially refer to each other as brothers, pretty much. His opponent is a black guy, Allen West, who used to be a congressman out of it's the north. I know it's around the Dallas area somewhere, but I got the feeling it's north and a little bit in Collin County probably, because that's reliably conservative. But he's running for state chair, as I understand it, which is not itself not a bad thing to me, because the party, many people don't know about it, this history of the Republican Party in Texas, but it was established by predominantly black people who had been freed from slavery.
Thank you.
It was mostly a bunch of black guys who were joined by some white people. Because the Republican Party at that point, at its founding and initiation, was a party of freedom.
Freedom.
Right.
That's
Was
right.
an anti-slavery party.
Right.
Now, how we have allowed ourselves to suddenly become to over the years evolve to become anti-black or anti-freedom, we have allowed that to happen because we as conservatives have not opened our darn mouths.
Right.
For the last 50 or 60 years, we've allowed the media to portray us as white and racist.
Right.
So much so that I've had guests and many of my own family members think that because I'm a conservative, I have been since I was 17 years old in high school, and I looked at it, and I just looked at things, because in those days, back in 1969, 1970, a conservative was a person who was for gradual change. And a liberal was a look and then leap and then look person. And it made more sense to me to, kind of look at what you're going into first before you jump.
Right. Ease up in there.
And just jump when you can have a chance to look and examine things.
Right.
But it's become now such that when you say conservative, that's almost synonymous with racist in the minds of many people.
Right.
I've had guests on my own show saying, "Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it?" Like I'm doing something wrong. They think something's wrong. I was on a radio show with Ken Thompson, one of my buddies, a couple of years ago, and talking about conservatism on his show, the KZI, and someone called in and said that I needed psychological help. I almost want to say your mama. Okay? Your mama needs some help.
Right? No, you need some
I
help.
don't need no darn help. You think I got a JD at 24 because I'm a damn fool? I don't think so. So I don't need the help. Well, you might need some help. And the same person called in on the radio show, said her son was at college at TCU at the time, speaking about embracing conservative ideas, and he needed a psychiatrist.
Oh my gosh.
Now, to me, that's kind of interesting, because I know that 90% of African Americans vote Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know why.
Right.
They vote Democrat because their mama told them to, because their grandmama did it.
Generation, yeah.
They don't know why.
Right.
Right.
Hadn't read a damn book. They know it's disproportionate abortion. Democratic Party anti-God, anti-American, anti-life, anti-everything. But one of the most amazing things to me is how black folks can go to church on Sunday and vote Democrat second Tuesday in November.
Right.
That's an amazing thing to me.
Yeah.
And in my honest opinion, they're essentially brainwashed.
Yeah.
And Kanye West has awakened to this reality, like it's news now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, my guest described me as saying, I'm in my Kanye outfit today. That's what they call it.
That is your Kanye
No, it's my
outfit.
damn outfit. I've been thinking this way since I was 17, which is
Yeah.
longer than, which is 50 years, which is longer than a lot of them been living. But let's talk about Hayes County. Hayes County is a mess, as far as I'm concerned. I get quite a few court-appointed cases from Hayes County, and a couple of them I'm going to probably get into a little bit of trouble. Because I believe if something is racist and it's wrong,
Right.
I feel that if I'm defending someone, if it's in their best interest to bring that out, I should bring that out.
Right.
Absolutely.
If I don't, I'm feeling in my job, my responsibility.
Right.
Well, nothing's going to change unless we bring it up into the surface of what's happening.
Bring it to light.
Right. Bring it to light. Otherwise, then if we don't and we remain silent about issues, about things that concern us, then there won't be no change whatsoever. And I think that's something that we struggle with right now currently with people that are in leadership in the Hayes Republican Party, is that we're disrupting their norm. They want us to remain silent. They don't want us to bring the things into light of the things that have taken place, things that have been unfair.
Well, the one thing that I've learned in my 67 years is that the one certainty in life is change. It's coming and it's happening, so you might as well get ready for it and deal with it.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, when I look at Hayes County, I see a county that, in some respects, time has forgotten. And we have conservative leadership there that has not embraced
change.
the full totality of what's real now.
Right.
Right.
The spillover of Austin is real.
Yep.
Yes.
And I believe if the county went sort of blue in the last election cycle, it's because of the spillover of Austin,
right.
and because we as conservatives have not done our job to cultivate our own and to expand our own.
right.
Absolutely.
Or bring forth our message as well, or being a party that is inclusive. I mean, I think that's why the Democrats continue to win. Is they're a party that is very welcoming to new people into their platform.
Well, no old white men will be born,
Nope.
or old white women will be born.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's a reality that I'm not sure that the leadership in Hayes County has come to grips with.
Right.
And I say that because when we went to the Christmas party, you guys were at the Christmas party.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Our table was the only table that was diverse.
It
The
was-
only table that was
The
diverse.
only table.
we held down diversity for the entire party.
And we did it. And we did it at our table.
We had a blast though. It was a good time. But yeah, I mean,
But then
It's
they had a welcome address or some kind of note from Alan West, who's running for state chair under his understanding. And we were talking before the show started. I've gone to 3 different Republican state conventions from 3 different counties, from Harris, Caldwell, and Travis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure about this convention coming up because I'm not in the in crowd in Hayes as of yet.
right.
Right. You fit in our boat.
And I think let's make a quick correction. I want to say that he's a congressman out of Florida. Don't quote me on that, but I'll have to look it up. I don't think he was a congressman here in Texas.
Alan?
Alan.
I thought he was out in Texas. I thought he was out in
No,
North Texas
no. I think he
somewhere.
was out of Florida.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I don't recall at the Christmas party, because I was literally intermingling, talking to new prospects for our campaign, his campaign. But did they, at least address our current chairman? Because fair is fair, right? I think that we have 2 gentlemen that are running for that same position. Did they give him that same respect?
Well, I know I remember them calling the different candidates to speak.
Right.
I don't remember you speaking, Wesley.
I spoke.
Did you speak?
Yeah.
I spoke.
Okay, they called you. Okay, good. I missed that one.
And that's one of the things that, Wesley's wanting to run is we have to be a party, if you're going to be the chairman, is
We have to be the change.
make sure to
We
be the
wanna be the
change, but
change.
also if they're going to, bring up Mr. Alan West, then they should have also brought up James
Mr.
Dickey
Dickey,
as
yeah.
well. Because he's, out of respect, he's been our chairman for the last, 4 years or more.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And he's, in my opinion, I think he's done a great job, and he's done a lot for the state of Texas already within the Republican Party.
Well, Texas is changing,
Right.
and Central Texas especially is changing because of the pull of Austin,
Right.
of
Yeah.
Travis County. It's changing because of that, and the areas around Travis are going to experience a change also.
Right.
And I think a lot of problems with Travis are starting to spill over into Hayes County a little bit. I have one of my cases. The guy was running from the police. He left. He was running from in Travis. He ran to Hayes. He has cases in both counties,
Oh gosh.
and that's almost like the spread of Travis County.
Right.
But while Travis seems to be spreading down to Hayes County, down I-35, it doesn't seem to be going down 183 so much to Caldwell. That's my sense of things.
Oh yeah. No, you're right about that. I mean, Kyle, Buda, those are the main areas that a lot of people that work in Austin, they're moving out that way. For one, I mean, taxes are a lot lesser than in Travis County. So yeah, we have a huge overflow of former Austinites that are living in Hayes now. And with that, it brings a lot of change. There's a lot of different cultures. There's
Right.
Hispanics, there's Black Americans, and we need to do, as what you mentioned earlier, as conservatives, we need to do a better job of reaching those that maybe they've never registered to vote, and explain to them, what the difference is between, both platforms. Because you're right, there's a lot of even Hispanics. I mean,
Right.
they vote by default Democrat because their granddaddy and their mom voted that way. They don't really particularly understand why they're voting that way. All they are told by the mainstream media is that if you vote Republican, you're a racist.
Right.
Yeah, that's all they're told, and they don't really understand. I actually, last 2018, when I was putting out signs for Ted Cruz, I don't think I've ever told you this story, but I was out putting signs for Ted Cruz, and I had this guy come up to me, and I guess he could tell I spoke Spanish, and we were conversating, and he asked me, out of, Beto and Ted Cruz, who would you vote for? And I said, well, I'm voting for Ted Cruz. He's like, no, why are you voting for that guy? You need to vote for this guy. This guy's the Hispanic guy. And I said, no, actually, you have that incorrect, sir. Ted Cruz is the Hispanic guy. And I'm just going to share with you both platforms, and you just tell me what aligns more with you. And so in Spanish, I went through it. And he said, well, I'm definitely not for abortion. So, of course, I probably would be, fit more into this category. And I said, well, that's Republican, sir. That's conservative. And he was completely shocked.
I think it's just the information that people are getting
Yeah.
and what they're being told.
It's what they
It's-
hear. There was that. It was some philosopher said, if I can control the media, I can control the minds of the people.
Well,
Right.
that's
And
exactly
that's
what's
really
happening.
what's happening.
Well, in my culture, the Hispanic culture, there's no conservative news network. There's no One American News Network. There's no Fox News. All they're watching is Univision, which is basically watching CNN. Univision absolutely hates the president.
The Communist News Network.
Communist News Network, exactly.
You know,
And so that's the only thing that they're watching. And so going back to the concerns that we have with Hays County is what I've seen over the last 5 years that I've been a part of, the Hays County Republican Party, is I don't see them putting Hispanic people in leadership. And you need to have Hispanic people in leadership to be able to get out there and speak to people that they can relate to. I know most people that only speak primarily Spanish, that are either from Mexico, Guatemala, or Venezuela, they feel more comfortable speaking to someone that speaks their same language, and have, start having dialogues with them about the issues that are important to them, the issues that are important in Hays County, the issues that are important in America as a whole.
hey Wesley, how long have you guys lived in Hays County? I'm
I've
curious.
been in Hays County for probably 15 years now. I actually grew up there, went to school in San Marcos, so it's so I've been in and out a couple of times, but this time I've been there about 15 years.
Now you know it's confusing to me about Hays County,
Tell me.
because I know Susan Narvaez used to be mayor of San
Yes.
Marcos.
Exactly.
We actually
So
helped
like,
Susan.
what happened? Like what happened?
I know. Yeah, what did happen? What happened to
I
San
wonder what-
Marcos?
And I've had on my show, that was a couple of years ago, probably just before she started running.
Right.
And I'm like wondering, like, what happened?
I don't know. I don't think that you could actually pinpoint one specific thing that happened. I just think, like you
A
say, I
growing
think
county.
a growing county. It's more diverse, culturally diverse, and along with that diversity comes different ideas and different mentalities, different backgrounds. People just the way their upbringing and things like that. And then of course, like you said, you bring up the news, and then that's what people do. They spend a lot of time probably in front of the TVs. I know. People have a choice what they watch, and I think predominantly people probably choose to watch what they were raised on. I mean, so if they watch a lot of CNN or
MSNBC.
MSNBCs and that's what their parents watched when they're growing, then that's what they predominantly are going to watch. And I mean, and it's amazing with the technology that we have these days. you know, and I can't speak that for all of them because I've actually talked to some of the young people at the college, and a lot of those people don't have cable in their house. They don't watch cable TV. They said, and they don't even hardly check their mail. You know, I talked to one gentleman. He's like, if you're going to mail me something, it's going to be 2 months before I get it. He said, if you want to get to me somehow, you're going to have to put it on a YouTube channel, some kind of social media platform, because that's, as young people, that's what we do these days. Mm-hmm. But look at the generation that they've grown up in. And nothing bad about it, but most of these young people these days grew up and were born with a cell phone. You know, when I grew up, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have my first cell phone until I was an adult. And then I didn't want to use it because I didn't want to pay $2 or $3 a minute to use it, you know, or more. Well, so it's just a generational kind of change that we're in.
You know, the kind of thing that concerns me is we were at the Christmas party,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that at one point during the evening that they had the college students stand up from Texas State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember seeing a black student in that group.
There wasn't one.
And if there was one, if there is one on the campus.
There is one. Her name's Karen Bowling.
Now, whoever she is, she should have met us.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because whoever she is, she probably needs support.
Right.
Right.
I have been trying to get a Republican club started at Houston-Tillotson College, Houston-Tillotson, for about 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what a professor there told me is that there's some students there who have conservative ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but that they need support.
Right.
And this is the kind of thing I believe that the party needs to take a hold of.
Absolutely.
Had a couple of young guys on my show a
And
few
cling
months
to
back.
them, like, is that what you're saying? Is
But
cling to
no,
some of
they
these-
need to know that there's someone
That supports them.
that supports them.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that you wanted to.
That is one of the
Talk
things
about.
that, you know, that I'm wanting to change about the party. If I get elected as chairman, is I want to make it where people don't feel like they're singled out, like they're not being supported. I mean, I've watched this, and Martha's watched this from even the city government up. You know, I mean, you see people that run, but they don't get the support. So then you feel like the black sheep, like you're the outcast, like, and then it's real. I think it's hard. It's stressful enough running as a candidate, but then you add the stress of not getting the support from the GOP, and it even causes more stress. And then people see that around them, whether it's their friends, family members, things like that. They're like, well, why would I want to step out there and go through that kind of stress?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of discouraging.
And that's one of the things that I'm really, really, really big on is I want this party. I want it to be unbiased. I want it to be fair, equal to everybody, to any culture that wants to run for that's conservative, that wants to run for office. They need the support. They need the support. And the young people at the college, they need the support.
Yes.
Because right now, young conservatives, we're the outcast. They're the outcast. Yeah. You know, they're the minority group on campus.
They're ostracized.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
made fun of, ridiculed.
Absolutely. You know, and that's one of the things that I see is that the GOP in Hays County doesn't give them the support that they need. And if they just got a little bit of support from the GOP in Hays County, I think that could do so much, do a way better job of getting the message out there what being conservative is. And I think a lot of the young people at the campus up there, I think there's a lot more conservative values than what we actually realize that there are. We want to stereotype people and say you're young, you're liberal, you're Democrat. We don't know that. We don't know that at all. I think there's a lot more conservative Republicans out there that are willing to step out, because you find that you got a lot more younger people, I think, that hide in the closet because they don't want to be singled out.
Right.
And we need to open them doors, them closets. We need to turn the lights on, and we need to let them know that they're not alone.
We need to let them know that we're out here.
We're out
Right,
here.
we're out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my
Absolutely.
thing is, in politics, unfortunately, in many cases, grow or die.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, no old white men, old white women are being born.
Nope.
You're born young.
Yes, sir.
And if we don't somehow begin to formulate our message and our calculus into including the young, we're going to be a minority party.
Absolutely.
And we don't have to be.
We don't
Right.
have to be.
And I see this president as doing all he can to try to bring some sense to the situation. But I smell that he didn't have total support of the so-called Republican Party.
Oh no, he didn't in the beginning. You remember?
He
that.
was Trump was like a wild card, really.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
When he had, I remember my little brothers talking when he was laughing when there were 18 Republicans running. I haven't heard him say. I hadn't heard him say anything about those 22 Democrats running now.
Right.
Right.
He's real silent, but he's a CNN fool. I'll call it what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
I mean, it's just like when President Trump, when he was coming down the escalator, in an interview, he had said to his son Don Jr., "Now it's time to find out who your true friends are," because I think he knew what was coming, and so it's kind of the same feeling as well with us, because when we went to the Christmas party, I can't tell you how nervous I was.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Because we had already
For
had
what?
well, because we already knew we had a lot of opposition, a lot of people that were being already really ugly towards us because we
of me
decided
running.
to run. And I kid you not, when I'm not going to name the person, but a person that I've known for the past 4 or 5 years barely even said hi to us. Actually, several people barely said hi to us. They gave us the
People
cold,
that would come up and shake your hand and,
Right.
and give you a
and
hug.
gave us the complete cold shoulder.
Really?
Yeah, since 2014. I mean, over the last 2 years, I would tell you right now that we've probably seen more people within the party turn their back on us because why? We've decided to not be silent. We've decided to step up and take a stand for our values and what we believe in and where we want to see the party in Hays County go, and we want to see it come back. I mean, it's not there. It's not there. And they keep telling us, and we hear it all the time, that we're causing division in the party. Well, we're not causing division in the party. We're trying to bring the party back together. Our goal is to bring the young, the middle-aged, and the old. We need to all come together
Right.
as a party.
Well, to me, it's like
As a
I think
party.
it's more control that they want. They want to be able to control who runs for office. Like, it's almost to the point where in some of the, posts that I've had on Facebook in support of Wesley sharing his page, I've had several people that have commented on there. Why is he running with an exclamation point? Why not?
And be sure and look at my page. It's what is it? Wesley Doss for Hays County Chairman
on Facebook.
on Facebook.
But why not? He's a Republican. Doesn't he have a right to run for office?
I thought we were the party of competition.
Right.
That's-
I thought that. I mean,
Listen.
the way I look at it, any fellow Republican, you're a Republican. You vote a Republican. You're conservative. You have a right to run for whatever position you want to run, and let the
Absolutely.
voters decide. But to me, it's like they want to control who runs for office, and they get upset whenever
There's a
you
wild
go
card
against-
thrown in.
There's a wild card thrown in.
And I'm the
you
wild
go
card in Hays
against-
County.
Yeah, what they want.
I'm the wild card in Hays County because then what we have now has to really work for what they want if they want to keep it. And if I can change that, that's what I'm going to change, because right now what we have in Hays County isn't working. We saw that in 2018. We saw it in 2018. Bad. There was numerous people, numerous positions that were lost in Hays County. And I think with the information that was out there, or the information that we could have gotten out there, it just wasn't utilized. Our party's not efficient right now in Hays County, and we need to make it efficient. We need to utilize every resource that's out there available to the party to use it to get the message out there and to bring more conservative people out. I was speaking with a gentleman earlier today, and that's what he told me. He's like, there's a lot of conservatives in Hays County. He said, but the current party that we have right now has ran them off. And he said, I'm talking about people that could put more money in that party and to build that party up and to turn Hays County red again. He said they've taken a step back because they were pushed out by what we have right now, because they had their back turned on them. They basically, their ideas weren't listened to, and And so they said, okay, if that's what you want, we'll just take a step back. They're still going to vote conservative Republican, but they're not out there helping get the message out like we could get the message out, you know. And it's just, you know, we need to utilize every resource that we have, whether it's and listen to ideas, because, you know, I mean, I have my way, and I have my idea of the way things that should go. And, you know, and in my job, I've been a supervisor in law enforcement before. And I would always tell my guys whenever they would, when I first got promoted, I told them, I said, listen, I said, I have my way of doing things, and it's worked, and it's kept me alive. But I'm open. I'm open to new ideas, because I understand there's always more than one way to skin a cat. You don't have to start at the head. You don't have to start at the tail. Maybe you can start in the middle and get it done. You know what I'm saying? But if it's more efficient and more effective, let's do it your way. And you got to be open to that kind of change. And if you're not open to that way of change, and you're only have one way of thinking, then yeah, you're gonna eventually, over a span of time, your party's going to deteriorate. Your objective is going to deteriorate. You're not going to be able to accomplish it eventually.
I believe there's only so much energy that you can get out of a 65, 70, and 80-year-old.
Well,
come on, man.
I know, and you can't give them energy drinks.
And they're not, as I said, repeatedly said, they're not being born. You're not born 80.
No, you're not. You know, and we need young people in Hays County to step up. We need young conservatives to step up and come out and get the support that you need. And I'm for that. I'm all for it. I don't care about your race. I don't care about your sex. I don't care about anything that you are, as long as you're conservative Republican and we're getting the message out there. Come out and let's do it. You know, you can't expect somebody that's 70 plus years old to go and knock on doors in a precinct that they're in charge of and say, hey, this is our candidates. This is who we need to support. Hey, are you registered to vote? I ain't seen no 70-year-old people walking up. Most people these days are scared as hell to come out of their house, even most of the time, because of the things that go on in this world. It's true. I see it day to day in my job. You know, being in law enforcement, you see those things. You know, much less you think you're going to get someone that's elderly to go up and knock on somebody's door that they don't know. Heck, they hear a noise, a tree limb break outside their house, they call in 911. You know, but the thing is, and I'm not saying that older folks in this party don't have a place. They do. That's wisdom for us. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. We need wisdom.
We can't expect them to knock on doors.
But I can't expect them to get out there and do the legwork and the footwork.
And do energy things.
No.
So much.
Yeah.
Not with walkers and scooters.
No, we need the energy. We need a lot of energy. We need young energy, and we need to get out there, and we got to get our message back out on the streets. It ain't coming from sitting in front of watching Price is Right. It's got to be knocking on the doors, picking up the phones, not afraid to call somebody and talking to people, and we got to bring that energy back. If we don't, we're going to continue to turn blue. And that's what I want to do, is I want to change that way of thinking. I want to bring that energy back to this party, and that's what we need, and that's how we're going to survive, is getting that energy back. We can't doing what we're at now. It's just like a stagnant pool. We need to open the ends of the pool up and get some fresh water flowing through it.
Martha, are you an ARW? What they call it? Was it Hays Republican Women? HRW? Hays Republican Women?
A member, yes.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
What's that group like?
Pretty much the same.
Bunch of old white women?
Pretty much. With the exception of maybe me and
there's a few young. I can say there's a few young women in there.
Yeah, there are a few younger.
But they have an old way of thinking.
But it's the same. It's the same. No new ideas. It's just always been the same, in my opinion.
So
I'm gonna have to go to one of their meetings and just investigate.
Go to the CC meeting.
To the which one?
The county executive.
When is it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Is it a secret?
Apparently it is right now.
I think that's public. Not when I was with Travis.
unless you're in the special group, it's a secret.
It's a secret. It's supposed to be public, open to the public.
That damn near sounds like a Klan meeting or something.
That's what the only thing they need is a sheet.
You got a Klan uniform and there's a museum downtown that has one.
That's ridiculous.
And I went to visit that museum, and I've always been a curious sort. I was saying like, where'd this come from? Who donated this?
Right.
And I was told that whoever donated did not want them to be revealed. They said they found it up in the attic. They cleaned out the attic or something. They found it.
Ain't that something?
I don't care. I still want to know who gave it.
I still want to know who donated.
I don't care if the person pushing up daisies said who had
Just tell me. Yeah.
There's nothing to be done. I'm just curious
Oh.
like that.
Yeah.
But when I saw that Ku Klux Klan uniform, it reminded me of when I was in college. They had a crossburn about 15 miles from where the college was. I kind of wanted to go. I kind of wanted. Well, what they do? Put on me, put my white on. They see my. I just wonder what they did. That's all.
Yeah, but their meetings are pretty much. I mean, we've had good speakers, but overall,
You got to
I
be in
haven't
that. You
really
got to be in the
seen-
circle though to get all the
Yeah,
information.
I haven't really seen a lot of diversity.
I thought that was supposed to have been a public meeting.
Yeah.
It-
Well,
it's
I'm sure it
supposed to
is,
be
but it's
public.
probably a real short
Public?
notice. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Real short notice. I'm sure. You know, I spoke with a precinct chair today.
Have you ever seen such a meeting?
I think
Well-
she's been to a CEC meeting, haven't you?
You went to
Well,
one?
you went to one
Oh.
too.
Oh yeah. I didn't know about it. I'll tell you. You me tell you how I found out.
You found out?
This is something right here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to handle this one. So, amongst all the turmoil of trying to get on the ballot to run, because I mean, I've never been to a football game where only one team showed up. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody they gotta try to beat. But that's kind of what I felt like. I felt like it was trying to be just like one team that showed up for the football game, and they just win by default. But anyway, so it was my goal to get on that ballot so that way I could be the other team, the opposing team, to show up with new ideas. But anyhow, so I called this gentleman up. He was the precinct chair. I had to get 10% of the precinct chairs to sign
Right.
my petition for me to go. And it wasn't that they're endorsing me. It's just saying, hey, this guy's a Republican. He's eligible to run.
And he's running.
And he's running. He's conservative. And it's just for me to get on the ballot, to have a fair fight. You know what I'm saying? And so I was talking to this guy, and he's like, well, I've never met you. And I said, well, I've met you. I guess he couldn't remember me because of my age or his age or something. I don't know. But I had met him. He had a couple of little functions that the GOP had. But anyhow, so he's like, well, I'd like to get to know you better. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, there's going to be a meeting, CEC meeting on Monday at 7 o'clock. Now, you have to understand, this was a Saturday. So we got Saturday evening when I talked to him, and we got Sunday, and then Monday at 7 o'clock
Was the meeting?
was the meeting. And I'm like, oh, well, where's it at? He said, well, it's going to be at the police department in San Marcos at 7 o'clock. And I went, well, that's great. I get off work at 4 o'clock. I said, I'll be there. I said, I'll be glad to meet you myself. So anyway, so I was supposed to meet him. He's like, and I'll give you my signature. He's like, I'll give you a signature on your petition so that way you can get on the ballot. And I said, okay, well, I appreciate that. Sunday comes around. I told Martha, I said, I need to call him so I could set up a time today to go meet with him so I can get that signature on that ballot. I called him up, and he went, well, he's like, I'm just going to tell you I can't sign your form anymore. I went, wait, yesterday you could. Matter of fact, I got the email from you saying you'd be glad to sign it. And now today you're telling me you can't. So what happened between yesterday and today? He went, well, I got a call from the current chairman, told me I wasn't to sign your form, that I needed to support the guy he recommended I support. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. And he went, but I'd still like to meet you. And I went, okay, well, I'll be there. You can count on that. And so he didn't sign my form because he was told not to. And I'm like, well, I just told Martha, I said, we'll just have to just chalk that one up and we're going to find another one to replace it. And so, lo and behold, I did, because I'm on the ballot. And I'm number one on the ballot. But I show up at the meeting. Me and Martha and Naomi showed up at the meeting. And I think Alan was there too. And one of the other guys that's running for precinct chair. And, man, you want to talk about tension. We weren't supposed to be there. We weren't supposed to know about that meeting, but we found out about it accidentally. And you could tell that the tension was there because nobody even looked at us when we walked in the room.
Or said hi.
Or said hi. People that we've known since 2014.
Well, they better not let me find out about
That we've
that.
rubbed shoulders with and that we've sat down and ate with at the little fundraisers and events that we've gone to. But all of a sudden, now that I'm running or have intentions to get on the ballot, ain't nobody going to talk to me. Well, I'd already gotten on the ballot, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had gotten on the ballot because I had to have my application turned in before 6 o'clock that Monday. Well, that meeting was at 7 o'clock. And so, man, and so I'm going to get to that ballot part in a minute. But we walk in that room, and I tell you, you could have cut it with a knife. It was so thick in there. And you could tell that the gig was up on them then, because just no kind of camaraderie or something you would expect in a party. You know what I'm saying? Hey, glad to see you running. Nothing like that. So then the chairman gets up there and he starts doing his little announcements and stuff like that. And he said, is there any public or anybody running for public office here? If you would, just stand up and introduce yourself. And then he caught himself because my opponent was actually in that meeting. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize at the time that he's the vice chairman, but it's okay. But I think it was a strategic placement. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Honestly is what I think. But anyway, and then he looked around the room and he looked right at me. And I know for a fact he was probably going to say, is there any party candidates here? Because I guarantee you he was going to introduce my opponent had I not been there. Mm-hmm. But when I was there, he was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because he couldn't. If he introduced him, he was going to have to introduce me. Mm-hmm. So he stopped. Okay, well, why would you stop after public? I've never been to a meeting where they didn't introduce anybody that was running for candidacy. You know what I'm saying?
I just think it's quite sad that like they went completely out of their way.
It's not fair.
To make the phone calls to the precinct chairs and persuade them not to sign Wesley's petition. That's
I had
not
precinct
fair.
chairs. Absolutely.
I want to go to the next meeting. That's all.
Yeah.
I had
you know about one. Let me know.
I had precinct chairs that I had already
Hope I
had
can get
lined
me a
up.
Klan uniform to wear.
If you do that, you might fit in.
I might as well have some fun, man.
Hey, but listen, this is serious though. I'm telling you, they had every intention in the world of blocking me from getting on the ballot because they want to keep the same thing going year after year.
On Monday, I was making phone calls for him because he was at work. And one of the guys that I had called, I had helped his sister on her campaign when she ran.
This story here makes me angry.
And so I had called him. I said, hey, listen, I helped your sister last, election cycle in her run for office. And look, I just wanted to see if maybe you could help us out. My husband is running for county chairman. Our current county chairman is not seeking re-election, and we really would appreciate if you would just sign this petition. And I, right off the bat, this is not an endorsement. This is basically just vouching that he is a known Republican and has a right to be on the ballot. And his exact words were, and I even have the text message also, is saying, well, I don't know about this. Let me call the current county chairman and see how he feels about that. Well, do you not have a mind of your own? You can't think on your own. You can't make
This is a grown man.
Form a decision on your own.
This is a grown man.
To me, so basically, you're allowing the chairman to control you, to control your thoughts, to control your decisions.
I was mind boggled. I was mind
And
boggled.
so, yes, I mean, after we got the signatures that we needed, I sent him a message and I said, you know what? Thank you for not helping us, with the signature. But I want you to understand that had it been your sister needing those signatures to get on the ballot for the race that she's running for, I'm sure you would have done it for her. I think it's kind of silly that you can't think for yourself. But we did get the necessary signatures that we needed.
And I'm going to tell you.
And his response back was, well, I'm glad you got your signatures. Congratulations. And that was
It was a fight. It was a fight. I mean, it was a scratching, clawing, kicking fight. WWF fight. It was. And I'm going to tell you, we walked in that office, that GOP office, turned that application in.
5:45.
5:45.
15 till 6.
15 till 6. And I'm going to tell you, that thing was packed. And when I opened that door, you'd have thought that they done seen God themselves. Because the look on their face and the jaws that dropped open, they didn't think I was going to make it because they had been working against me. And I had 72 hours from the time I found out I need these signatures to get them, and I needed 3, and I ended up with 6 because I fought, I scratched, I clawed, and matter of fact, people that they even got to run against us and had
Signed.
appointed as precinct chairs and then unappointed. I don't know how that works. How you
It's
appoint
just
and
a-
unappoint
it
and then
seems to
appoint
me-
someone else. There was some of that shifty shift stuff going on, you know. So it's like them cards kept disappearing on the table. I'm like, I don't know, but anyway, I'm just gonna tell you, I walked in that office and I was proud. I had my chest bowed out. Wasn't trying to be arrogant or nothing like that. I went, here you go. And he just, and the county chairman just sat there and he looked at it. He flipped to the page and he looked at the names that were on there, the signatures. He just kind of made one of these looks right here, like a little frustration. You know what I'm saying? Went back to the other page, looked at it. And I know it took everything in him. He just had to look up at me. He's like, looks like everything's in order. I said, yes, sir, I know it is. Shook his hand. I'm a man. I don't have no ill feelings, no nothing like that. We need change. And I want to be the change.
Why would our local GOP chairman discourage someone else to run for that position?
I
Because
don't-
they just wanted to simply appoint who they want to appoint and not give anyone an opportunity to run for that same
To make a
position.
change.
To make a change. But to me, it's sad because you're also denying the Hays County Republican voters the opportunity to maybe have another different candidate that they could vote for. You're denying the voters.
There's no democracy. There
There's
wasn't no
yeah.
democracy in that county. But anyhow, but yeah, please vote for me. Win Hayes 2020. Hey, look, there's my website.
Now, you had something. You pointed out something to me, Martha, at the conclusion last show that I didn't know about. I didn't know that I was the face of Hayes County Conservative.
Hey, but
Can I
you
get
know
your
what?
signature before we
But you
leave?
know
Because
what?
you're
The-
important. I'm gonna get
You
your
know the
autograph.
gentleman that is over that page?
Yeah.
He wants to bring more
Diversity
diversity,
in-
Who
as
is he?
well. His name is
Put me in touch with
Michael
him.
Doyer. Amazing guy.
me in
Amazing
touch
guy.
with him.
And he loves Hispanic conservatives and black conservatives. He knows and recognizes the need of us to bring more
Diversity
into the party.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
'Cause I kind of remember being at the cookout. I remember my picture being taken because I had the Hillary.
That was the
for
first time I met you guys, and we lost touch until recently. I ran into you guys at the Christmas party, and it was a blessing in disguise
Yeah.
because I was like, oh my gosh, I finally found y'all. Because I hadn't seen you guys at any of the events.
I'm not hard to find.
Well,
I'm not-
apparently
I'm-
not.
I'm-
We
I'm-
just go to O'Dwyer's Facebook picture. You're right there's profile picture.
I couldn't believe that one.
Yeah.
That's a good picture though.
You think?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
that's a
think
great picture.
Yeah, you had the. I mean, I saw some pictures of you growing up and stuff like that, and you stood just like you always stand. You know, upright, straight,
Yeah.
above the dirt. You know.
Yep. That's how I was taught.
And
Yeah,
by the
just-
way,
just be me.
I mentioned in the last show that I held like a MAGA rally in San Marcos, and it made the local newspaper, the San Marcos Corridor local newspaper. And we're doing it again on the 18th of January. And I think it's important that we take our message to the streets because
Absolutely.
you have no idea.
Please invite me.
Please come.
You're invited.
Yes, please come. We're gonna
This
have
is your official
this is
invitation,
your
and we'll.
official invitation. But
You know,
what I saw
I've
out of
been
it,
known to crash a few things.
what
That's
I
all
saw
right.
out of
You can
it
crash
is
this party.
many people reached out to me from that rally. People that are not, part of the. I mean, they wrote Republican, but they don't go to like the GOP events, the Hayes Republican Party events. Hey, let me know when your next one is. I really want to go. You encourage me. I'm a Hispanic Trump supporter, and it's enlightened to see you out there, and I want to be part of it. I want to be a part of it. So let me know when the next one is.
We're gonna
It was
pull
just
people out of the
exciting.
dark.
Yeah,
Well,
we're pulling people that.
I see things changing. I see the president actually leading the change.
I wanna be part of
agree.
his change.
But I think the stuff that's going on in Hayes County is not really reflective of what we want to go on and what needs to go on
What
and
needs to
and
go
what the
on.
president would like to see go on
Absolutely.
and what he needs to go on.
He needs us to be. He needs us to be on the ground running in Hayes County.
Right.
He needs everybody to be on the ground running.
I read last week that he was polling at about 30% in
of
the black community.
community. Yeah, I believe it.
Do you know? And I know we were working on a plan to try to increase black delegates and black voters in Texas, conservative voters. And we calculated that if conservatives could attract 20% of black vote, we could shut them out.
Yep.
And if he's polling at 30,
That's pretty good.
No. We need
30?
we need to, well, it's okay. We need to raise it more.
no, that means this is the ideal time to strike.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Especially
And
with
it
the
seems-
with the
it-
Brexit
it- no,
movement.
it seems like we got a situation in Hayes County where no, we're not gonna strike. We're gonna do this same old thing we've been doing. No,
Yeah, same.
it's time to try something different.
Yep.
It's
something new.
time to try something new. Yes.
You know, isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again,
Expecting
expecting a different
the same results.
expecting a different result.
That describes black Democrats exactly.
Exactly.
They've been voting Democrat for 60 years and haven't got
Right.
a damn thing. And they keep doing the same thing. Baby brother.
Switch to being conservative Republican. And come to Hayes County and vote for Wesley Dawes.
Quit being quit being anti-God, anti-life, and
Man.
anti-American, and anti-common sense.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we gotta. Now, you're right. Now is the time to strike. It's time for change.
is time
it's
to
time.
strike.
It's
Couldn't
time
have said
to.
it
It's
better.
time for all of us to stand up and support our president. Been the best president we've had since Ronald Reagan. Maybe even better than him.
No, that was Obama, man. He made bathrooms a big deal.
Oh. Yeah, I think the men need to go to the men's restroom and the women need to go to the women's restroom. I don't
My whole
particularly.
question was, where are the Bears going to go?
Yeah. I don't particularly like my wife coming out of the restroom saying, "Hey, there's a guy in here beside me." You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. I'm kind of old school when it comes to that
Well, I
kind
was
of business.
at Casa Maria in San Marcos. Have you ever ate there?
That's
Oh my
not
gosh.
fair, man. Bears have to shit in the woods.
It ain't right at all.
Anyways, coming out of Casa Maria's bathroom, there was a gentleman.
Discrimination at its best, right there, ain't it? Sorry.
They need somewhere to go, man. And
They need-
giraffes and squirrels and birds.
Yeah. Well, you can identify as one of them, I guess.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Anyway, tell us about Casa Maria real quick if you got a second.
So yeah, I was coming out of the restroom and I honestly had do a take back like, oh my gosh, am I in the men's bathroom by accident? Because there was a man in the women's bathroom. And
Lost it.
that is concerning.
Should have shot him.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Should have shot him.
Actually, I went in there with my daughter because I never let her go to the restroom.
If that's the case, I need to start going in there for her protection so she can just pee in peace.
I never let her go to the restroom by herself. Ever.
Bring the gun and shoot him in the groin.
I always got a Glock
Tell me
with
you
me.
wasn't sure. Tell me you thought he had a split there. You weren't sure.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
But I'm glad I went with heaven.
And I'm
'cause-
I'm glad you had us again on this show. I mean, we like being here with you. This is a good show.
I
Hey,
think
that new
think
MAGA
it's-
hat looks really good on you.
No,
I
I'm
mean
just,
to tell
I'm,
you.
just, I'm just trying to get the party to understand
Oh yeah,
we need to engage in activities like this to reach out and let
We
people
got
know
to.
that we are.
we have to.
That we, as James Dickey says, we don't have horns,
Nope.
Right.
and that we're reasonable people.
And we all breathe in the same air. That's crazy.
Except when the president said we all bleed red blood, it was a racist statement. Democrats bleed blue, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know. I only got one more thing to say. Vote Wesley Doss. And go to my Facebook
Well,
page.
thank you
and then-
guys for coming on the
Yeah.
show again. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you,
My
Martha.
pleasure.
I'll see you somewhere and we'll raise hell together.
Yes,
There you
we
go.
definitely will.
That's awesome.
You got to come back again now.
Yes,
are
we
gonna
definitely
come back.
will.